We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.
Hey everybody, this is Nick Mayhew, 3-time gold medalist and 3-time world record holder, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
You're listening to Power 98.5, powered by United Angels Dream, your number one resource for public relations, entertainment, and multimedia. Contact them today at unitedangelsdream.com.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Hey, what's up? My name's Grant Kanoki. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and artist, and you're listening to Power 98.5.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from here and all around the world. I'm Stephen Cuoco. It's a great day today. Happy weekend to everyone. And wow, it is, even though the sun's not out, there's an overcast. Love it. Kind of windy. We've been getting lots and lots of rain. Love the refreshment of it. But also what's most important, 2023 has been a great year. And I hope it's been a great year for everyone else. Whether you're listening to Power 98.5 on the iOS or Android app, Alexa, or on power985.com. Remember, we are your top #1 premier destination in radio for all things news, sports, entertainment, and what's trending. Remember, you can click the bottom right-hand icon, whether you're on the iOS or Android app, or on the website. Send us a message, share love, support, and if you would like to be a guest on any one of our shows, Resilient You with Alicia Pizzoni, or Catherine and Company with Ms. Catherine Swain, or my show, you can email myself and my team over at power98.5radio@gmail.com or power985.com. Great lineup this week. Just yesterday alone, we had country music artist Derek Skelton with his new hit release. We also had music artist Michael Brown, based out of Canada. You can listen to those right now, either on Amazon Music, Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Remember, this is a radio show. It is not a podcast. We just utilize those podcast channels for the best interest for our guests, so that when people Google search and if they're not able to tune in, like today we've got actor Eric Nelsen. If you're not able to tune into the live or to tune in when we re-air these live shows, you can always check the schedule at power985.com, or once again on the iOS or Android app. There's a lot there. You can set an alarm clock. There's reminders. There's a lot you can do. That is a very, very interactive app. I'm actually going to go to it right now. Well, actually, I don't know. I may be pulling up the music, so I may not want to do that. However, go to the app because I know it goes automatic play. There's a lot there. Give us a review. I know that we are really steady and holding strong. 5-star reviews, very appreciative, love it. And that's because we support the community. We support the people. We're not about driving sales and sales pitches and, pushing things down your throat to use satellite radio as a marketing stint. We are a community here, and it's about the people and for the people to learn about their stories and who they are, and really being a true media advocate for the public. Also, just a reminder, January 16th, if you haven't watched the new show on Netflix, and I'm a true new fan of this show, it's called Pressure Cooker. First season just released this month. It came out. Robbie Jester is the winner. We're going to have him on my show on January 16th, tomorrow. That's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then we have HGTV's Mike Pyle, and that's going to be on January 17th at 11 a.m. Pacific. Do we have anything else to share for the listeners? Or I know I had a couple notes, but I know, I've covered everything here. Once again, Netflix, new hit series, Pressure Cooker, Robbie Jester. Tomorrow, please tune into that, because I definitely want you guys to share any comments, share reviews. If you got any questions for Robbie, or even today for Eric, just click on that bottom right-hand icon, send it over. Or even if you want to give a shout out, do that as well. Send us a message. This has been a long time coming. Big shout out to Mr. Marcos Papadatos for setting this up. We've got actor Eric Nelsen. He's an Emmy and Tony award-winning American actor and producer. He's known for his role as Enos, if I'm saying that correctly, in the Yellowstone prequel 1883. On stage, Nelsen portrayed Brett Simpson in the original Broadway production of 13, and he starred in The Good Mother. He has appeared in over 30 television series, including Hulu's revival of All My Children, playing A.J. Chandler, a recruiting role in The Affair on Showtime, The Blacklist, Girls, The Following, NCIS, Blue Bloods, and iCarly. Nelsen also appeared in the Universal Pictures film A Walk Among the Tombstones opposite Liam Neeson, and in Coming Through the Rye opposite Academy Award winner Chris Cooper. Eric, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Steve, so happy to be here, brother. What a great introduction. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. And what accolades? You're hitting it, and you're hitting it in the industry by, making all the right decisions, by going after top tier content and production.
It's been so much fun. I got into this business as a young teenager. I moved to Manhattan when I was 13 and started working as an actor pretty much right away at 13. And it was just a fun hobby that I knew I wanted to do my whole life growing up. And then there was kind of that point as I got older into my young adulthood where I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a career. You make a living doing this, and this can sustain you for the rest of your life. So having that switch happen and really dialing in and going full focus on film and television and stage was, best decision I ever made. And it's been so much fun. So it's been a blast. It really has. I can't complain. Just so grateful for all of it.
What are you most proud of when we think about everything you're accomplishing? Because you're a father, right?
I am. I was going to say, if it's overall, it's definitely my two children. I've got a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. So by far, highest accomplishment right there. It's interesting because, my whole life was my career and the acting industry. And I put all my focus into that. Then I met my wife and I was like, okay, now this is my priority. And the acting thing, comes below that, which was like, had to transition there. And then the kids come in. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many, my heart is so full for so many other things now, when I thought at one time that the entertainment industry was going to be my entire being. But it's interesting how things completely shift when, you get new loved ones in your life, and for the better. It's been unbelievable.
What I'm impressed by, and most importantly, is you are a millennial. However, you have covered so many things in such a short amount of period in your decades, even your last decade. It's astounding of how seasoned and mature and elevated you are. And it's expressed in a very, very great way in the world.
Steve, I really appreciate you saying that. I think when you move to Manhattan at 13 and you get thrown into this industry with majority adults, your whole kind of upbringing, it definitely matures you quickly. It kind of, puts you out there in a way that otherwise wouldn't be. All my friends back in Florida when I moved to New York were still just kind of running around the neighborhood and, causing kid trouble and doing their thing. And meanwhile, I'm on big picture studio sets surrounded by adults and, for all intents and purposes, working as a young, teenager. And so I think all those things kind of lent themselves to allowing me to mature and grow up fairly more quickly than probably would have otherwise. And, had a very supportive mother who was there every step of the way. And yeah, so I think it was just kind of all the right recipe for, putting strong head on my shoulders at a young age. And I think in this industry, you need that. You need that as quickly as you possibly can when you're entering into it. So had to learn that along the way.
What are you most proud of what you've learned, coming out of the pandemic, being where we're at now? What have you come to find, to put it more specifically, what did you find out about yourself in realizing how resilient you really are? What's been your true resiliency?
Wow, that is such a great question. I, you know, as awful as the pandemic was, there really were a good amount of silver linings. I feel like that came from it. And for me, I think having that time to stop, to not, not to just have my head focused on career and going and pushing myself further and further. It was that moment of pause where I felt like I finally caught my breath and I was able to realize, okay, what am I doing? What do I want to be doing? And what did I do in the past that wasn't working? It was just that time when I really got to do some self-discovery and come to the understanding of, you might not need all these things that you thought you needed. And now that you have time to think about it, this is what you should be focusing on. This is what your goals, were from the beginning that maybe you lost track of or sight of because we get wrapped up in the flow of things. And so for me, it was really just the stopping of time almost, and having that moment to center myself and to really come to terms with not only who I was, because I feel like we get defined as our careers are taking off, and we get defined as the roles we're playing and, all those sort of things. But really just putting all that away for a second and figuring out who I was and what I wanted to be and what I really wanted my goals, to be set as. And that calmness and that stillness allowed me to tap into that, which otherwise I don't think I would have. I probably just would have been, trucking along the same conveyor belt and not thinking too much about it.
Do you believe it's added, being a dad, young dad with young kids, yet so advanced? And why I say advanced, Eric, is because time is moving by so quickly, where people are taking more consideration and responsibility over the time that they have to meet to the goals and expectations and desires and the dreams in life. What are you doing consistently every day for yourself and to inspire your children and your family? What takes precedence in your life now in order to be exceptionally extraordinary as a man and as an actor and a father?
Well, I think for me, it was not defining myself with my career. I think it was really putting that on a shelf and putting my heart and soul and mind into my family, my wife and my children, and putting them first, and really taking that time to let them know, I'm here. This is the most important thing in my life. And because there's so many times, I'm gone filming for weeks and weeks at a time, and I've got to leave my family. And of course, every day off I'm flying back. So I'm not sleeping when I'm shooting anything these days, because I want to make sure every day I'm home, that I'm not shooting. But, just having that time dedicated to them and making them the priority allowed myself to free up on the creative side, which ultimately made everything fit together like this great puzzle. When you're trying really hard and you're trying to press the pieces together and they're not working, but you're relentless and you're just shoving them together and nothing's really fitting. It's interesting when you step back, put your focus on something else that really matters so much more on such a deeper level, like your children and your family. The puzzle pieces all of a sudden kind of fit together seamlessly. And it's when you're not pressing them so hard is when they're just kind of pop into place. And so for me, that's pretty much, how it went and where I'm at right now, and making them the priority always has, done numbers to my life outside of my family as well.
Do you have any upcoming projects or what's on the table right now? Because I know, and I'm going to go ahead and read this. As a producer, Nelsen has won 3 daytime Emmys for The Bay and a Tony Award for the Broadway play The Inheritance. Those are huge. And I've interviewed other cast members from The Bay. What's happening? Did you attend that red carpet premiere? Because I know something happened with The Bay recently, right?
Yes, we did. We just premiered some new episodes, and they did have a premiere party. I was not able to attend, unfortunately, because of my work schedule. But we do not have new episodes out as we speak. And I've recently wrapped up a fun film called Holly by Nightfall with Jack Falahy from How to Get Away with Murder and other phenomenal cast. It's a youth ensemble movie. So have that to be looking out for. And I'm actually about to go to Bentonville, Arkansas for 5 weeks starting February 4th to shoot a movie called Shaky Grounds. Incredible director, Michael Garcia. He's been one of the most prolific music video directors of our generation. And so he's going to translate that into a feature now. Incredible eye, incredible vision. I get to play a rock star in it. So I got to learn and got to pick up and learn the electric guitar, and I'll sing and play 4 songs in the movie. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. That's awesome. Seriously. And we got to get you back on the radio for that, because we're not going to have you here just be a one-hit wonder. These are people's lives, their jobs. And, you know, as someone who's in public relations and media, it is important to understand and to know, Eric, the difference between sensationalism and, I would say, what would be the other thing? You know, advertising and editorial. What I consider is, when I think about actors and producers like you and directors, and, you know, these are jobs. And I believe, for what it's worth, when there is a new film coming out, no matter whether it's on Netflix or it's an independent, or even if it's something that was shared or put on YouTube, people look for hope. And you take and put a lot of trust within yourself to be able to live a passionate lifestyle and career. And with that, I really look forward to more people being supportive, that you don't always need an A-list name or somebody famous, because I know distribution requires a lot, an A or at least a B-list to have for distribution, and most media want to have that name. But here's the thing. We never know. At one time, Eric, your name and who you were was just starting out. And now look at where you're at today. And I really want to say that I am going to continue to encourage and to make aware and be very open and vocal that you never know who or when and where the next Eric Nelsen is going to be in their life and in their career. And it's better to show and share respect now while they're beginning and doing what they're doing, than until you have all of these accolades to then finally say, you have worth, you are worthy to be on my platform, you are worthy to talk about or write about. Let's be more supportive. So I just want to let you know that behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, and as I express all the time on this show, and as you heard Dan Aykroyd say, you know, he's positive. I am positive, and I'm also passionate. And with being positive and passionate, I'm continue to and will continue to express to people to support someone like you and someone like you that is just starting out.
That's incredible. I mean, it really is. And for any listeners that are out there that feel they maybe are that person that are just starting out and, you know, one day want to be, you know, talking on a radio show about all their films and TV shows, and, you know, to have someone like you who's a champion of that and supporter of that from the start, not just from, you know, from the finish line, is it's really incredible. And I wish there were more people out there that felt the same and, you know, had that kind of energy and support going. But it's so true, especially, you know, in my industry, you never know who's going to be the next, somebody. All it takes is that one job to really put somebody on the map and to put them in a light that, feels like it was overnight. A lot of the times the best saying I heard in industry was, it took 10 years, 15 years to become an overnight success. Right. Which says so much, because even from 1883, it's my first Western I had done. And, it was on such a massive platform because of Yellowstone's success. But a lot of the Western fan base had never seen my work or heard of me. And so when I stopped, which happens constantly out and about, a lot of the times they're like, "Oh, it's so great! Congratulations on your big break and starting in the industry." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I've been here 17 years, but maybe in the Western world it is my start." And for those reasons, you're right. But it's funny because you never know what's going to make you feel like a somebody to somebody else when maybe you have been to other people for a lot longer period of time. This industry keeps you very humble and puts you in check very quickly. And you're only as good as your last job. So it's important to remember those things and, just put your head down, work hard, and let the rest play out.
What would be your advice, Eric, to any young professional, no matter what industry they're getting in or what they're passionate about? When we think about the awards and accolades that you've won, what has been the most impactful? Is it the body of work, or is it the award? And the secondary part is, do awards really define and make a true emotional and mental difference as an actor?
Those are great questions. They really are. The award itself, it's acknowledgement, and it's something to look at that tells you your work was appreciated. The hours and sweat and tears and blood that you put into it was acknowledged, and that feels very good. And it's a wonderful feeling to feel appreciated and to know that your work's making a difference and impacting people in a big way. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything in terms of your work ethic, in terms of your goals and the way you approach a project or your work. It definitely allows myself to make phone calls to people that probably wouldn't have taken my call otherwise. It's easier to get meetings now, and they take you a little more seriously. Oh, okay. All they hear is Emmy and Tony, and they're like, "Yeah, well, let's set up a meeting." Where otherwise maybe wouldn't have gotten that call or that face-to-face meeting. But it doesn't change. It doesn't change the work behind it, and it doesn't change the drive and all of that. It in no way, at least for me, it's you don't get comfortable. Or at least I found that if you start getting comfortable and like, okay, let my work speak for itself now, let the supporting actor Emmy speak for itself, and things will come to me. I found that it doesn't work that way. I almost now have to work twice as hard because I have twice as much to prove and to back that up. If they're awarding me with an award that's the highest award in television, that's saying that's saying my acting is strong and my character was well developed and I performed to the top of my ability. Well, now that's expected of every single job I do. And so if anything, it made me work even harder to let them know that that wasn't a mistake, and that I don't take it for granted, and I'm not getting comfortable. I think sometimes some actors feel that that's the cue to let off on the gas and take a breath for a second. But too much life passes you by at that point, and there are too many other actors that are so hungry and starving for this industry that will end up taking roles from you because if you don't have that drive full force at all times, I truly think it won't happen the way you want it to happen. And so it's just assurance to fight even harder at that point.
Isn't that something? you accomplish something, you win something, and it brings a greater responsibility and requirement. It's like you reach certain levels, but it reminds me even back when we think of when I think of the Mommy Dearest film, and with the actress who played in that, she reached the top. And then there are people who reach the top in all the awards, and then they're at a certain place in their life, a certain age, there's certain changes that have happened with goals and expectations by industry leaders. And it's like, what's next? And here's a question from that. Do you ever, let me rephrase, have you ever thought to yourself, Eric, that there could be a plateau in your industry of wondering, just like what Faye Dunaway went through, what's next? What is really next in my career? Not only to portray, but is there going to be another role that's going to help me elevate as an actor? Do you ever believe that there could be a moment of a pause because there may not be suitable roles for you to grow and elevate, and there also may not be suitable roles that could help you win more awards?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm at the mercy of the networks and of the studios and of other people to hire me. It's always, please, I want this job. I'm right for this. I'm fighting for this role because I can see myself playing this. And, I'm always needing to rely on somebody else, except when I'm producing. But as an actor, it's always in somebody else's hands, the cards. And so there's always that feeling of what's next. Is it going to be fulfilling? Am I going to be taken seriously? Is it a step up and not a step down? And, you've got hopefully people on your team, like a great manager. That's, I feel like, one of the most important roles they play in your career is helping you make those decisions and, really, really shining a light on what would be the next right step. And, you've got your agents and everybody's kind of looking out for you and looking through scripts and trying to help you. But even with a team of people, there's still always that thought of, oh God, but what if, what if they, find another Eric Nelsen and it's not going to be my time, or, so you try to push those thoughts down and but it's hard because, like I said, you're at the mercy of somebody else wanting to give you a job. And so it's, unlike a dentist who opens their own practice and has a thriving business and expects the same clients to keep coming back, and they know that their lights will always be on because they're in charge. We are not in charge of our destiny at all as an actor, and that's a tough position to be in, especially when you're coming off of a long running show or what have you, because you get comfortable and for a moment you feel like you're have a normal 9 to 5 consistency in your life. And then all of a sudden it's gone. Network doesn't want to pick up the next season, or, it's our last performance on stage because it's not selling tickets as well as it used to. And then you're back to the drawing board. It's back to, what am I doing? How do I find my next job? And gosh, I hope it comes quickly. So it's an up and down battle, a constant battle, but that's what also makes it exciting. And you got to have super thick skin to do it. But the reward is much greater than the risk. And so for me, it's all worth it, but it's definitely an up and down battle, to say the least.
I'm sure it may have been talked about or discussed by other actors or somewhere through time and space. Is it nail biting to wonder, wow, we're done with the first season, winning awards, however it may be that, the show had turned out? Is it truly nail biting to wonder, do I still have a job? Is there a season 2? Is my character going to make it past episode number 3? Am I going to get 8 or 12 episodes? Do these things go through your mind or other actors that you've worked with? Is there more nail biting behind the scenes than what we really realize?
It is. And unless you're the title character on a series, where the series is named after you, or you're Kevin Costner in Yellowstone, nobody's job is safe. Nobody. I mean, it's you're constantly needing to be on at all times, doing your best. You can't slip, because if you slip, you're so easily replaceable. There's so many phenomenal actors out there who work hard. So it's what sets you apart, and how do you maintain and hold on to what you have at the moment. And there's no secret or recipe or book to read to teach you how to do it, because at the end of the day, we're at the mercy of them. And if they decide we're no longer right for their vision, they're going to do what they need to do. But I found, if you work very, very hard, if you're a good person and you're good to the people around you and you treat people with respect, you're going to be okay, because what goes around comes around. I truly believe that. And at the end of the day, it feels like a big industry, but it's a very small industry. And everybody talks and everybody knows each other. So if you're good to somebody and respectful and show up to work on time and do your job diligently and have your lines memorized and all of that stuff that you need to do behind the scenes, you're going to get hired again, because people talk. In the same way goes reverse. If you're one of those actors that is lazy or doesn't, want to come to rehearsals on time, or, has a bad attitude and isn't flexible on the creative process, that gets around too. And people talk, and people don't want to work with those actors. So it really goes both ways. And I just say, be good to everyone you're working with, and they'll be good to you. And that's what's been happening to me. And I'm just sticking with that.
I love it. I really do. And why I say I love it is because you just shared exceptional advice for most people, because we hear these things about mental health. It's more than mental health. It's emotional health. That's where it begins, where we connect and how we connect emotionally to ourselves, to our family, to our friends, and also to the projects and opportunities that are offered and gifted to us in a world. Does being a father, does it have a huge impact on the way that you make decisions now in your life, Eric, and the jobs and roles that you take on?
It does. It's interesting, because as I grew up in the industry, I feel like my motives shifted. The way I approached roles and which roles I wanted to take and play shifted as I got older. And now that I have kids, especially, because now I'm thinking they're gonna watch my work one day. They're gonna be old enough, and they're gonna want to see what Daddy's done over the years, and what I continue to do while they're growing up, and they're gonna be part of it. They're gonna be running around on my sets. They're gonna be in my trailer. They're going to be involved, because that's my life and that's where I spend most of my time, and I want my family with me at all times. So they're going to be really involved. And for those reasons, yes, I'm much more particular about, what roles I want to play, what projects I want to be involved with, because I want to be respectable. I want to, set a good example for my children. And, ultimately I just want them to be supportive and understanding of what I do to the best they can, and by showing them, Daddy's, not doing crazy things on television and film, and is taking on roles that are, challenging, but also staying, true to my character and my beliefs. I think that'll just set a good precedent for them in their own lives, and will make them appreciate my work even more.
Who would you like to give a shout out to, Eric?
Oh my gosh, so many people. I mean, Marcos for sure, for connecting us. Sending lots of love to you, brother. Want to give a shout out to Gregory Martin, our showrunner and creator of The Bay. My family, friends, and to you, Steve. Thank you so much for having me. This has, just been an honor, and I'm so happy we finally got to connect.
Me too. It's been a couple of years, if not longer. I believe. I'm going to tell you. I found out about you back in 2012, I believe it was. It was well over a decade ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I heard about you. And I know we've been trying to get you on the show, providing how our schedules are and traveling. Like we just know how things happen. I don't know about you. However, the experience I'm having with you and on today and the emotional self of where I'm at from going back to, the private personal conversation we had before going live, this feels really great. And I'm really, really happy that whenever and wherever things were postponed and that led us up to where we are at now and being here and being live and being in this interview together, I'm grateful to it and for it because I'm able to be over 1 trillion% present with you. Not saying I wouldn't have before. I just know what I'm feeling today. And this month has been extraordinary on my emotional and mental health. I'm so very blessed and grateful to have this opportunity with you. And thank you for gifting that to me and for you being who you are and so patient. I want to thank you for that enlightenment.
Well, what a blessing that is to be in such an emotionally calm and sound place as you are right now. And I'm happy to be in this boat with you, and then we got to spend this time together, and just so excited for everything you have going on. You've been incredible, and I hope we can do this again soon.
Absolutely. And I've got to ask, I'm loving the long hair from your post back on November 15th of 2022. You're in that Getty image. Who took that? Roy Rockland. You look incredible. Are you keeping the long hair? What's happening?
So I am keeping it for this next movie I'm about to do when I'm playing the rock star. I will have to cut it at some point because we're in development right now, but I'm doing a series based on Will Rogers' life. And of course, the time period lends itself to shorter hair. So by the end of the year, it will be cut off. But I'm gonna be trying to ride with it until then for sure.
There's no way they can put your hair up and put it in a stocking or whatever it is that may be and put like a wig or something on you, because I'm loving the long hair. It looks incredible.
Thank you so much. That's a great question. I might have to pose that in to hair on set and see if that is a possibility.
Why not? They do it for Chris Hemsworth when he plays Thor. I mean, it's not like it's unrealistic that they're not putting their hair in stockings and putting another piece of hair on them.
You might have just completely opened my eyes to something here, and I think you're absolutely right. So it's a great question. I'm definitely gonna pose that to production and see if I can get away with that, because then I can have the best of both worlds, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And you're more than welcome to drop my name and let them know, so they don't feel like, oh, well, is Eric being like, no, Eric has a great idea. He spoke with Stephen Cuoco, and it's a legitimate, question, because how many people in Marvel and many other films who have hair pieces and they're not cutting their hair off, or how many times someone has to go bald and they're getting some sort of prosthetic or whatever it is to make them bald. They never shave their hair.
It's very true. It's very true. Steven, you're onto something. I'm loving this.
All things exceptional and wonderful of Eric Nelsen. Head on over to his Instagram at EricNelsen official. Eric Nelsen official. Thank you again for being with us today, live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5. Any closing thoughts, anything upcoming that we should know about and get ready for, just to recap?
No, I mean, other than we've got Holly by Nightfall that we just shot, that'll be coming out. We got Shaky Grounds I'm about to shoot, the Will Rogers project coming up. We got a couple other things in between that I can't share yet. But I'm very active on my Instagram. I appreciate you throwing out the handle. Everybody always spells Nelsen wrong. They put Nelson because that's the common way to spell it. But mine is with an E. You just spelled it out. I really appreciate that. But for anyone who wants to follow along, very active on my Instagram. Love to hear from the fans and people, and Always try to respond when I can. So please reach out, and I'll see it for sure. And, I'll send you some love right back, and I'll keep everybody updated on my page.
Thank you, Nelsen.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Once again, all great things, Eric Nelsen. Head on over to his Instagram, Eric Nelsen Official, ERICNELSEN Official. Ooh. Yeah, I'm having a really, really great moment. Like I said, this feels really, really good. Really, really good. And on a beautiful day as well. We're going to upload this, send this over to my distribution company. If you're just tuning in or caught us at the end, I know we had some listeners that came in towards the middle and towards the end. Really appreciate you, and thank you so much. You can always go to power985.com, click live radio. I believe it's live radio. Let's go ahead. You think I would have it down pat and by heart right now, but I don't mind. It gives me the opportunity. All right, power985.com. You can click, it's live music or tap in live. Our schedule is there. When we re-air these live shows, always check out our schedule, whether on the iOS or Android app, and or the website, and you'll be able to know what upcoming shows are happening. Also, you will be able to listen to this show with Eric Nelsen on Amazon Music, Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. That will be available today. And the link will be there. You'll be able to share it with your friends and family on your socials. Once again, we utilize those platforms because they are really, really good platforms to be able to get more of the word out there. And also, just in case, if no one's able to listen live, there is no reason why they cannot catch up and listen to the show on either one of those platforms. Remember, as a reminder, great reminder, tomorrow already, Monday the 16th, January, Monday the 16th, Netflix, Robbie Jester, he won, I believe it was $100,000 he won the grand prize. Season 1 of Pressure Cooker on Netflix is airing now. That interview is going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then Tuesday, January 17th, we have HGTV's Mike Pyle. That's at 11 a.m. Pacific. Thanks again to everyone for your love and support. And remember, we are your premier, #1 commercial-free destination of all things news, music, entertainment, sports, and only the important stuff on Power 98.5. Also, add Power 98.5 in your Alexa skill. You can listen to us on Alexa 24/7, streaming live, in your home, in your car, wherever it may be. Very, very happy. We are in 200 countries. Very grateful for this accomplishment and all the love and support, especially to my team in Manchester, UK, and as well as New York City, where my team is at. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy New Year. And as always, you are not just defined by the decisions you make. You are also defined by the actions you instill through the decisions that you make. Remember that. We love you guys. Have a great day.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.